Monaco last Sunday, Maxwell Boyd reporting. A pensive Colin Chapman, world champion racing car constructor, is hoping for an end to his bad luck. No World Championship victories so far this season, his latest cars smashed in crashes at the Spanish Grand Prix 3 weeks ago. Even his fellow world champion and #1 driver Graham Hill has to drive the car he used here last year. Although Hill has won 4 times already on this tight, cramped circuit through the streets and squares of this 250-acre principality, both men know that Jackie Stewart, Hill's one-time teammate, is leading the championship table and is hot favourite to win today. Can Hill and Chapman fend off the French challenge in one of the few sports where Britain can still beat the world? Hill's sinister helmet, shaped for better protection, lends him the air of a Roman gladiator ready for battle. Time for a final word of advice from old Monaco Victor Sterling Moss before he enters the arena. Ahead lie 80 laps, each with 9 full corners, names ringing with racing history like Gasworks, Tabac and Casino Corner. 2 of them bottom gear hairpins, 1 tunnel and a high-speed chicane. Nowhere can the cars reach full speed or the drivers ease off. On the start line the tension tightens. Even royalty has eyes only for the 16 cars, all that can be crammed into the narrow, twisting track. World champion Graham Hill is back on the second row, beaten in practice by front row men Stewart and Amon. The air crackles with power. This is the drama and spectacle which can squeeze 250,000 people into a principality smaller than Hyde Park. For the wealthy jet-set swingers and the oily-fisted mechanics, there is now nothing to do but wait. These first seconds are vital. Inches won here can decide the whole pattern of the race. Already Stewart's Matra leads the pack procession after a faultless start. This is the moment of temptation when some drivers push on, balancing the need for a commanding lead against the extra punishment the car can take. Yet already on this very first lap, the remorseless pressure is taking its toll. Jackie Oliver's BRM is out after breaking its front suspension in a brush with Atwood's Lotus on the scramble for Saint-Devote corner just after the start. The others swarm on, wrapped in a blanket of noise. The backdrop is perfect, the hills, the brilliant Mediterranean, the Baroque hotels, adding up to the Monaco atmosphere like no other race in the world. A heroic survival from the days when cars raced on streets rather than tracks. It's the supreme test of driver skill. Monaco has no straights in racing terms. The corners blur together until the whole race becomes one long corner, snaking up and down and side to side like something alive. The drivers play for high stakes. A tiny error of judgment at a flat airfield circuit like Silverstone may spin a car onto the grass verge, losing the driver a few vital seconds. But the same mistake at Monaco could cost him the race at the very least. Curbstones, walls, gutters and seawater bind the track in a tight grip, leaving no margin for error. Only the spectators can afford to relax, to sunbathe, to lie on the deck of a yacht and watch the cars stream by. For them, like the drivers, Monaco is where it happens. Monaco is where it's at. For one spring weekend, this expensive slice of real estate is the center of the motor racing world. Back on the track, the race settles into its pattern. The cars string out, and a 5-yard lead here can be worth double on any other circuit. Extra power counts for little. but a mounting number of cars are missing from their places in the order. Amon's Ferrari has broken its specially strengthened transmission, Rodriguez's engine has given up, and Surtees missed a gear and Brabham crashed into him. As the drivers trail back to the pits, Stewart is 27 seconds ahead of Hill. But he pushes his car too hard, his transmission breaks, and he retires, leaving Hill in the lead. Suddenly the excitement begins to drain away, and for some the race is already as good as over. Aerofoils were very much in evidence at Thursday's first practice session as the drivers gathered in the quiet sunshine, among them McLaren, Amon, Courage, one of the few privateers, and Rodriguez, BRM, not tipped to win, but the car has a good record at Monaco. Odds-on favourite Stewart and Jack Brabham, 3 times world champion, the oldest driver in top-class motor racing, and a cunning and resourceful opponent. Chris Amon, the young Ferrari driver, a potential world champion, hoping that Monaco will end his series of frustrating breakdowns. And Vic Elford, still a relatively new recruit to Grand Prix racing from the world of international rally driving. And finally Hill, still hoping for a win to help catch up on Stewart's 18 points. Meanwhile, in the back streets, in garages hidden from the track, the careful work of preparation goes on. Suspension settings and gear ratios are checked and altered as the cars are tuned to the demands of the circuit and the weather. This long, detailed, hard work may only save fractions of a second a lap, but added up over the whole race may mean the difference between first place and 10th.
It's a little bit too high, actually.
So you can cut it down a bit.
Yeah.
So specialised are modern racing cars that each one fits its driver like an extra suit of overalls. Stewart, a Scot now living in Switzerland and driving a French car, entered by an English team manager, is typical of motor racing's international attitude. Rated by many as the best Grand Prix driver today, 1969 could well be Stewart's championship year, and his French car looks like providing the first serious threat to British domination since Surtees won for Ferrari in 1964. Aerofoils have added another stage to the tuning process. These thin, spidery wings play an important part in improving the car's road holding, using the airflow to push it down onto the track. But in earlier races, several of these wings have collapsed at speed, causing spectacular crashes. Even so, no one dreams of doing without them, although on a slow course like Monaco, their heavier load on transmissions, always a weak point here, could make them a mixed blessing. Hill is at his best in practice. His engineering background and his sharp mechanical sympathy lets him work closely with the mechanics in honing a car to the razor edge of performance. But he faces very tough opposition from today's Flying Scotsman Jackie Stewart. The time to beat is 1 minute 24.9 seconds, a full 3 seconds faster than last year's best. Hill comes fairly close with 1 minute 25.6, and behind him Ix manages 1 minute 26. Swiss driver Joe Siffert is half a second behind Ix, followed by Piers Courage in a Brabham with a time of 1 minute 27.6. But most drivers, like Chris Amon, had plenty to worry about. He had a sick engine to contend with, a depressing addition to the list of troubles he's endured since he joined Ferrari. McLaren was experimenting with a new front wing as well as the normal rear aerofoil. The BRMs had a 2-wing system with a front spoiler, and Matra had adopted the same idea. Gradually, the cars are inched up to peak performance. Lap times are shaved by fractions of a second.